Right guys, welcome back to the channel, and yes, it has been a while since I've done one of these sorts of videos, where I just talk to you guys. I think it was, over half a year ago when I did my last collection video, and since then, we finished BFW WrestleMania, not in the way I wanted, I kind of got a bit overwhelmed at the end, I just had to do closing moments of the matches, I really did want to film, Bryan Danielson versus Gunther in the main event in full, but, I just wasn't really motivated. I didn't have the space. I was busy with work. I was tired, didn't have the time. And yeah, that's kind of why you haven't seen anything from the pick fed in, a few months now. Now, BFW isn't finished. I haven't like closed the lid on it or anything. It will be back. Hopefully soon. I don't know, how soon that is. It could be a year from now. It's mainly just space and time is the issue. I don't have my arena anymore. I don't have, the ring. I still have the ring, but it's in storage. I don't have it, easily accessible. I don't have the lighting rig anymore. That's in storage as well. But I've got everything ready for, when I need to return. Because I do miss pick fedding a lot, and I know you guys keep asking me. A few of you have asked, when's the pick fed coming back? But, I truthfully just haven't had time or the space to do it recently. I've still been, been collecting. If you follow me on my Instagram, you will see, what I've been up to, which is kind of what this video has to do with. I'm going to be showing off some customs that I've sort of made slash put together. I can't take credit for, all the work that's gone into them, but I'll explain that as we go through this. It's been so long since I've recorded, I don't even have a tripod anymore, which is why I'm having to hold it. I looked all over, I tried to make my own, but it just wasn't working. So you guys are going to have to deal with this for now, of me holding the camera while showing you the customs that I've made and explaining, the parts and everything like that. But hopefully you enjoy this comeback anyway. Perhaps not, in the way you may have wanted. But yeah, I thought, I've made a few customs over the last few months that I've, had a lot of fun doing. And I'll just make a video on it just to show you guys what I've been up to. I have been uploading, YouTube shorts every now and then. I've been enjoying doing those. And on my Instagram, I've been posting these customs over the last few months. I've done a bit of posing. I'm still very active on Instagram if you guys need to reach out to me or something. I've been doing a lot of vlogs recently as well on the channel. All in Rev Pro, Royal Quest. We did Money in the Bank a few months ago. So yeah, expect more of those next year. I know there's a lot of shows next year. There's more WWE live events, AEW All In 2024. Bash in Berlin, which I might be going to. Don't know for sure yet, but if I do, I'll definitely be vlogging it. So yeah, be sure to check those out if I do that. But anyways, now we get into the figures. I may have another video, on recent pickups that I may do a few days after this. But for now, I'm going to show you guys some of the customs, or all the customs I've been working on over the last few months. So yeah, we'll start from, the least interesting ones to, the ones that I'm quite happy with and that I've had the most work put into them. So yeah, let's go. So starting off, we do have this Elite 73 Bryan Danielson / Daniel Bryan figure with the custom head scan that was made by the late TSM Customs. Yeah, I feel kind of cheap putting this in here, but I did just want to show it off for you guys. This Elite 73 Daniel Bryan was super hard to track down, a lot harder than I thought. But I did manage to get it for a bargain, and all just so I could do this head swap with the Danielson head sculpt, make it sort of an updated AEW figure. And yeah, I love how this came out. I have gotten, the 2-pack Blackpool Combat Club Danielson as well, but I did want to, have an elite version of him. Maybe I'll add some double jointed arms to this in the future. But for now, I really like how this looks. I just think the red and the black. This is probably the best Daniel Bryan Elite Mattel made, and with the custom head sculpt just to make it more updated, it just looks beautiful. So yeah, we have Bryan Danielson there. That one's more of just a head swap. It's not really a custom, but I thought I'd include it in here anyway. Up next, we have a couple more Mattel customs. We have the Young Bucks in Mattel form. Yeah, this was one I wasn't planning on doing, but oh, the lights just went off. This is probably going to happen a lot with this stage. I wish it would just stay on, the whole time. But yeah, we took the Then Now Forever Tyler Breeze. I had one, that was a Tyler Breeze. So I do need to get another one so I can have Tyler Breeze in this gear because I do love that figure. But when I decided to make these, I was like, I have to make both of them. I can't just make one of them with the spare Tyler Breeze that I got for a decent price. And I added the Street Fighter Matt Jackson head scan onto this one after putting a different one on. But yeah, I decided this one looked a lot better. And then we have this other Nick Jackson head scan from the Amazon 2-pack, I believe. And yeah, these look really great, especially when you add the 2-pack shirts on them. Unfortunately, the head peg did snap on this Nick Jackson, so I actually need to get some glue later today to glue this on. Hopefully, it won't be much of a posing issue because it's just kind of this bit which snapped, not inside the head. So it should be pretty usable in pick fed if I ever, want to use them again. Even though I do actually like the AEW ones quite a bit, especially those Series 3 ones. I'm sure we'll get more in the future. But this was just something I wanted to do. I know I'm not the first to make these. This is pretty much the base, what everyone used for Young Bucks back in the day, before we got the AEW ones. But yeah, I really like how these turned out. So yeah, we have Matt and Nick Jackson there, the Young Bucks, Mattel Customs. Nope. You guys will notice with a lot of these customs, I'm not a fan of paint work. I'll happily do some acetoning and part swapping, but with paint, I just don't find myself good at it. Yeah, maybe I just need to try it more, but that'll cost a lot of money. Getting the paints and everything, as well as messing up parts. I'll have to rebuy parts. So if I can make a simple custom, that isn't 100% accurate, but requires not much work, and it can be used in a pick fed, can be posed well without chipping, then I'm gonna make them, which is why these are perfect for me. But yeah, really glad with how those came out. Next up, we have a couple of LA Knight fix-ups. We have sort of a wrestling gear and a promo gear. I did buy, a few of the basics. The basic is actually really good. I love the articulation. I'll go into that in another video if, I do a recent pickups video. But yeah, the head scan is pretty much all I needed from them to make these, apart from, the parts used. So for this one here in his ring gear, you will notice there is a height difference. But I don't think I'll really use this one. This was just something I kind of wanted to do. I think the basic is good enough to pose with until we, inevitably get an Elite LA Knight, which should be, next year, you'd imagine. But yeah, we have this one here, which used the Elite 39 Dolph Ziggler, I think, pretty much all through, with a bit of acetoning. And then we actually added the basic legs because they're on ball joints now, which is amazing. So that was a really easy swap. You don't have the upper thigh rotation or anything, but, you get the ripped torso. And his head sits a bit low on this one, but I think it works, at some angles. And then you have, this one, which I'm really happy with, is this promo gear LA Knight, which is pretty much just the Elite 73 Elias with a head swap. I would like to get a better jacket and custom shirt made for this promo gear LA Knight. We're probably going to get one from Mattel eventually, but this was just something I wanted to do. Yeah, LA Knight is just, so over. It's crazy how popular he's gotten. I'm definitely on the, the LA Knight train. He didn't beat Roman, unfortunately, but I don't think he's the guy to beat him anyway. But, I enjoyed the match. I thought it was decent. But, yeah, LA Knight promo gear, of course. I do have the sunglasses as well, but they keep falling off, so I thought I'd just leave them. And, yeah, the Elite, which isn't great, but, it was pretty simple to make. But, yeah, then we have a couple of LA Knight fix-ups. Okay, so now we're getting into, a bit more of the exciting stuff. It feels like I made this one ages ago, and that's because I did. I just never included it, in a video since then. This is a custom Elite Jon Moxley with double jointed arms. It is just the Ruthless Aggression Stone Cold with the Unrivaled 2 Jon Moxley head scan. Yeah, really like how this looks. I added the Blood and Guts 2-pack shirt and the Unrivaled 2 jacket. And yeah, I just think this looks real good. I love the new Moxley that we got with the Bryan Danielson 2-pack. But yeah, I did want to make this Mattel Jon Moxley. And, it's not 100% accurate, but it's posable. It looks good. It works well. The height's a lot better than the, AEW ones, I think. But yeah, this just feels so good. Mattel double-jointed arms just can't be beaten, compared to Jazzwares. And there goes the lights again. But yeah, really glad with how this looks. There's probably loads of different formulas you can use for a Mattel Moxley. But this was something I wanted to do, as soon as that Stone Cold got announced. So yeah, really happy with how that turned out. And the head sits actually pretty nice on there. You just had to, sharpen the insides a bit to make the peg hole a bit bigger, which is something I had to do with the Young Bucks as well, which is kind of why, the peg ended up snapping. So you do have to be careful when doing that. But yeah, really glad with how that looks. Now here we do have a couple of New Japan customs of the Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada. Yeah, I do have a custom Elite Okada, which I love, but I did want to make these, especially since the formula was so cheap to use. These are basically just both the same formula. It's the Stunning Steve Austin. Again, this one isn't accurate, but, Okada did wear something like this at one point, and, all you have to do is add a custom head scan, and boom, you've got an Okada figure. Yeah, unfortunately, I only have one custom head scan that's on this one, since this is the most recent one that I did. But yeah, this one didn't require any paintwork really at all. The design's fairly, simplistic. So you don't really need to, add any paint or anything. And yeah, it's got the white boots as well. The torso isn't ideal, I don't think. I think I'd prefer, maybe the Wade Barrett torso or the Damien Sandow torso for Okada. But, this works for me, without having a torso crack. And then we have, just the all black attire with the white laced boots, which were an absolute bitch to track down. I did end up getting them for a good price with the Legends Cowboy Bob Orton Elite. So yeah, glad I got those. And yeah, then pretty much all you have to do is acetone off all this pink and blue stuff. And yeah, add some lower legs, which I think were Tommaso Ciampa ringside exclusive, and the custom head, and a cheeky elbow pad with the Super 7 necklace. And yeah, this is inspired from his match with Danielson at Forbidden Door earlier this year, but he's definitely wore this on more than one occasion. So yeah, super happy to have 3 figures of Okada now. I just need to get some other head sculpts so I don't have to keep swapping it out. But yeah, this head sculpt was made by Gene Addy, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, I don't know what, I think it might use a rock figure with some crazy modification. I couldn't do anything like this, but yeah, I really think it captures Okada's likeness. But yeah, do need to get a couple more Okada head scans. But yeah, super easy to make Okada. So yeah, happy with those. Up next, we have a custom AEW Elite Jay Lethal. Now, I've wanted to make a Jay Lethal for a while, but figuring out the formula was a real pain. Eventually, I decided on using a Farouk Elite because it was on clearance. Same with the Stunning Steve, really. I picked up a few of them just to make Okadas. But yeah, this was on clearance, and all I needed was a custom head sculpt, which was painted by and made by Headeration on Instagram. I've got a few head scans from him in this video, which you'll see later on. But yeah, I think, maybe the torso is a bit big, the biceps are a bit big, he's way too tall for Jay Lethal. But, in a pick fed, you can't really tell on some of those things. And, it really does work. You just have to use a bit of blue tack to hold down the head scan, which isn't ideal. It can pop off every now and then. But it does work, for a display piece. And the attire isn't accurate, but it does represent Jay Lethal. You got the black and blue, you got the upper bicep armbands, and yeah, the knee pads, the kick pads. I think I did have to do a kick pad swap actually, and a lower leg swap on the Farouk. But yeah, super happy to have this Jay Lethal. I was going to use, the new Carmelo Hayes as well, but that one was just going to be a bit more awkward. So maybe I'll make another one in the future and throw this head scan on there. But for now, this will do nicely. Yeah, hopefully AEW make one eventually. I don't think one has been announced, so we probably won't get a Jay Lethal figure till like at least 2025. Oh shit. Okay, thanks for that, Jay Lethal, for knocking everyone over. But next we do have a Katsuyori Shibata Custom Elite. Now, this one was pretty difficult to make, in terms of finding the parts. I had to use a ringside exclusive Cameron Grimes, which isn't easy to get in the UK, so I just ended up using mine. So I do need to get another one, so I have a Cameron Grimes in the collection. But I'm really glad that I ended up using it. He has the double jointed arms, pretty simple to make. The formula was all there. I think I just had to add some black taped, lower legs, and some white tape for the wrist tape, and yeah, the hair on the chest was already there. I ended up using a Hideo Itami head scan and just acetone the beard a little bit. I do want to get a custom head scan for this eventually, just to make it, a little bit more accurate. But for now, I think this works well. I added the Ring of Honor Pure Championship and the towel. He is the current Ring of Honor Pure Champion, so it felt right. And yeah, really glad to have this Shibata in the collection. Thankfully, he has a very, simple attire. He is the wrestler. So yeah, this works really well for him. You guys will notice with my customs, I tend to try and make people that aren't going to have figures for a long time. Just because I don't really, feel like the point of wasting parts and figures on making people who are going to have a figure like next year. So yeah, I thought I'd make, people that may never end up having figures. Or it will be a very long time until we have them, unless they're, easy to put together, like the Young Bucks or Moxley, for an upgrade to the collection. But yeah, that is Shibata, definitely, one of my favourites in this bundle. And going back to that point of people who may never have a figure or ever, get one for a few years, here we have Bandido. Yeah, this was the NXT Elite Andrade, as you can tell, pretty much all the way through, except the custom head sculpt, which was made by Headeration. I went for the ponytail up look. This gear was inspired from his match with Jericho, which for some reason I thought was earlier this year, but it was actually last year when that match happened. Feels like it's been ages since we've seen Bandido on AWTV. I don't know why. I don't know whether he's injured or something. But yeah, hopefully we see him soon. And yeah, added white knee pads as well. Yeah, pretty simple, custom to make of Bandido, but very glad I did. Let me know if you guys, want to see any of these guys in the pick fed in the future. For sure, I'll definitely be using Shibata, Bandido, as long as they're posable and easy to use. I don't want to, damage the custom head sculpt because, I haven't really posed with any of these custom head sculpts yet, from Headeration to see if they chip easily or not. But, as long as you're careful, they should be okay. So, yeah, there we have Bandido. Up next, we have the IWGP World Champion, Sonada. Yeah, he's definitely gone, undergone a look change over the last year. He's definitely gone, very more basic, which is perfect for me because it means it's easy to make, compared to when he had that crazy blonde hair, the crazy, paint gear on his attire. But yeah, here we have Sonada. Big fan of Sonada. Saw him, at Royal Quest this year. Yeah, and I was struggling for a while on what head scan to use, but I ended up using an Akira Tozawa. I'm actually quite proud of this because I haven't seen many people make, an updated Sonada. I know there's a few custom head scans out there you can use, but I want something, that can be posed with and, have longevity. And yeah, I ended up using an Akira Tozawa and just acetoning the beard, and I think it does, work for Sonada with how he's, looking these days. As you can tell, you can see the outline of Tozawa's beard still, so I may need to, sand that down a bit. But I ended up using a ringside exclusive Tommaso Ciampa. I do need to buy another one of those now. Bobby Roode legs, Bobby Roode knee pads, and just a little bit of acetone on the gear. I left the gold bit, just from to stand out a bit compared to like Shibata with just the plain black. And then we do have the custom IWGP title that was made by Ryotsu on Instagram, I believe. Yeah, super cool design. I actually like the design of this title, so it looks real good with Sonada. Yeah, the double jointed arms as well, you can do the pose. Yeah, really glad to use this. Sonada is definitely someone I want to use in the pick fed one day, but there's just so many names, so many figures coming out, people you want to use. It's just hard to, keep them in consistently, which is, one of the main issues with pick fedding. But yeah, it's not a bad issue to have, but yeah, that is Sonada. Here we have the Alpha Konosuke Takeshita, and I know what you're thinking, this may not look like him at all, but this one was kind of just an experiment. Full credit to BalorFigs for, figuring out the formula on this. I did, try to make a Takeshita earlier in this year, and I think a lot of people thought of using this head scan of Yoshitatsu and just acetoning the blonde off. Maybe a little bit of brown paint would make it work better, but I decided just, leave it simple. And yeah, he came up with this formula of using the Trent Unrivaled Torso, Young Buck's crotch, and upper thighs. I think these are, I ended up using Cash Wheeler upper thighs, Trent knee pads, and lower legs, and then Cash Wheeler boots. So thankfully, the figures used to make this were pretty much rubbish figures, so I didn't really care for, destroying them, dismantling them limb from limb to create this. I think I also used pack arms. As you can tell there, he has the upper black bicep band thing. The torso might be a bit big as well. The head sits a bit low on it, which isn't ideal. But, I wanted to just experiment with this, and I'm happy with how it came out. It's very posable. Maybe I'll hopefully AEW make one sooner rather than later, because he's definitely in need of a figure. Takeshita is amazing. I did add the Carmelo Hayes jacket as well, which is a very nice cloth goods accessory, which works for Takeshita. So, yeah, Takeshita right there. I think maybe I will get a custom scan for this one day, but I don't mind the Yoshitatsu one, personally. Yeah, shout out to BalorFigs again for the formula on this one. Really happy with how this came out. Again, if you guys want to see, any more pictures of these, check out my shorts on my channel. There's some more in-depth looks at these, on the display base, as well as my Instagram, of course. If you don't follow me on there already, I think we recently hit 7,500 followers, which is crazy. So yeah, thank you all for following me on there and, liking the posts and blah, 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 whatever. But yeah, there's lots of pictures of these, in lots of depth that you can see over there. So yeah, now we move on to the final three customs. So up next we have these customs of the Brisco Brothers, the Briscoes, Mark and Jay Briscoe, and of course, tragically, Jay Briscoe did die earlier this year. It was a horrific accident. But I did, want to make figures of these. I'm sure, Jazzwares will be on these hopefully soon. And I can't really take credit for making these because these are pretty much just custom parts made by other people that I threw together and bought some custom shirts for them. So yeah, these are just Sami Zayn elites, I'm pretty sure. I think Jay did have a torso crack, with lots of tattoos added. I did get most of the bodies of these guys, sorry, I should say, off eBay. I don't know the seller, but yeah, these were very well made. And I got these custom head scans off eBay as well. Both listings just happened to be there at the same time, so I was like, you know what, I can't miss this opportunity. The head scans that were originally on these bodies weren't great, but then these ones, I think, these look to be made by TSM Customs again. Just great work on both of these custom head scans. And yeah, I think they look real nice, once I added the good head scans on these. And then the custom shirts as well, Dem Boys, of course. Yeah, wish Jay was still with us, but, hopefully Mark does great things, as he has been doing, over the last few years. But yeah, shame we won't see them in tag team action again, but maybe we'll see them in BFW one day. Let me know if you guys want to see that. And up next, up last, I should say. Sorry, I'm getting choked on my words there. It's been a while since I've done one of these videos. Trying to do it, without any editing is pretty hard because I can't be bothered to load up my computer and blah, blah, blah. I don't have the time to, edit it exactly how I want. But anyways, onto the final custom. We do have the Speedball Mike Bailey. Definitely probably the best independent wrestler in the world these days. He had an amazing match with Ospreay a few weeks ago, and yeah, had to make a figure of him. I did get a custom head scan by Headeration made, which is just 10 times better than the Humberto basic figure head scan I was using. Although that may be better for pick fedding, so I may switch it out if I ever pick fed with Mike Bailey instead of this custom one, just so I don't damage it. I can always do that. I've got both options there if I want to. But yeah, it's the double jointed arms. It was pretty much made using the Legends Elite AJ Styles. No paintwork on here. I think I just acetoned the Styles name off there. He's still got a bit of gold on there. This is kind of what he's rocking these days. I did add knee. He already had the knee pads on. The kick pads were already there. I added Rusev feet, and then the Matt Jackson Street Fighter jacket, which does which does say Young Bucks on the back, but you don't need to look at that. Yeah, I pretty much bought that figure just for this, but thankfully the Matt Jackson head scan did come in handy elsewhere. But yeah, super glad with how this Mike Bailey turned out. Yeah, I don't know if we'll ever get a figure of him again, so yeah, I had to make one of him for the pick fed in the future. Super fun to pose as well, which is pretty much the deal with all these figures. That's the main thing for me. As long as they're fun to pose, they don't have to be exact attires and blah blah blah, whatever, custom parts, modification, lots of paint. As long as they're posable and you can tell who it is, that will do for me. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching this video. This went on a lot longer than I thought. Sorry this wasn't the quality you were maybe expecting, no tripod or anything, no editing, just kind of all one take. But yeah, let me know if you also have any questions about any of these figures, and what parts I used, if you need any advice. I'm going to be making, more customs as well. I've already got a few in the works, so maybe I'll do another video in the future on those. But yeah, be sure to follow me on Instagram to see everything first, as well as updates, on the pick fed and everything, and other recent figures that I've been getting and blah blah blah. I'll probably make another video on figures I've gotten recently, just recent pickups. So yeah, leave a like if you want to see that. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for all the support, even though I've been gone for a while. And yeah, I appreciate every single one of you who subscribed, liked the video, and yeah, I'm just waffling now. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video if there ever is one.